Welcome to the Horror Hangout, the podcast where some bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. I'm trying to do this more energetically because last week I was sounded like I was depressed or something.
Giving up on life.
My name is Luke Condor with a K, and I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Ben Errington.
Mr. Ben Errington, and
Errington! Yeah, baby.
And we found Andy knocking around outside outside the digital house by the bins.
The bins.
So Mr. Andy Conduit Turner, how's it going?
I am very well. How are you guys?
Yeah, good man.
Well.
My voice is a little bit scratchy from all the beer last night, but yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, grand. It's been a busy Halloween season so far, but yeah, doing all right.
Yeah.
Busy. It's been an enjoyable Halloween season.
It has.
I think not just because this film came out as well, but I just think in general, everyone's getting to the spirit of things. Everyone's loving life.
Yeah, for sure.
Very nice.
I think everyone's watching Haunting of Hill House as well. I feel like everyone's on that now. Have you?
Everyone is.
Finished it yet? Or
I have finished it. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, same here. All done.
Everyone's finished it. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone happy with it?
Yeah.
I think for me. I think after the magic of episode 6, I think that's a funeral home one. I feel like after that it starts to peter out a little bit, but it was good. It was really satisfying, like a wholesome Sunday roast dinner. It was lovely.
yeah. Well, you can have a nice little sleep afterwards.
You're a bit full afterwards, but yeah, it was good.
I liked it. I thought it was very unconventional. Like, for something that seems really conventional on the surface, and even a few episodes in, I was thinking, is this really, like, am I enjoying this? Is this kind of doing my head in a bit? It's a bit cliche. Yeah, so for something that's really conventional on the surface, it is really unconventional in terms of the kind of things it brings to light. And it's not just like the horrors of the things that they're experiencing in this house and ghosts and stuff. It's the horrors of trauma and how it affects a family and everyone involved. I think it's really good. I think it explores a lot of good
It definitely got
themes.
It's got me maybe like emotionally more than I think any TV show or film has in ages. Like I think some of the characters you do generally care for them, and then when the bad stuff happens to them, I don't know. I just found it really affecting. It's really great.
Yeah,
and I mean there are jump scares, but I think most of the time they feel earned. There's a few cheap ones throughout, which I kind of feel like, especially jump scares where you wouldn't expect to have a jump scare, like they just kind of come out of nowhere. They feel a bit like, oh, you bloody hurt me, didn't you?
I like it. It's like a little tickle.
Yeah.
Kind of like it, but you don't feel safe at any point.
I don't want to feel safe.
Maybe that's the point.
Constantly on edge. Yeah.
You want to feel constantly on edge.
I liked it, unlike a lot of series, that it finished. You know, it was complete, like the circle was completed. There was no tune in next year for actual conclusions. It tied off nicely.
A new family moves into the house.
Yeah,
that's good. And
Macaulay Culkin moves in.
And despite being 10 episodes, like I don't think it's kind of suffered from feeling too long either, which I think a lot of series, especially Netflix stuff, like 10 episodes or 12 episodes, kind of suffers around about, probably about the 6th, 7th, 8th episode mark. It feels like it's stretching things out a little bit, but this kind of felt like a nice length for it. So
yeah, I also found like not the jump scare bits, but there's some moments that I just found genuinely unnerving. Like I felt like the hairs in the back of my neck standing up, and I was like, Jesus Christ, there's like on the end of the first episode, there's like a little bit of it, even though I knew it was coming, it was just got me, just like creeped me out. Also the kid in the basement, that's a good little moment.
That bit's terrifying.
Yeah,
it's good. I think I really enjoyed the program, and it struck me about a week after where I'd seen the actress who plays Cleo before. Have you seen Hush?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's her. Yeah. It was really bothering me. I was like, I know you, and then I was like,
I know you.
That's it.
She's married to the director, isn't she? Mike.
Flanagan.
Yeah, I think they did they write some Hush together, or they do some writing together. Mike Flanagan has also recently written the screenplay for a reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer. So that'd be interesting.
My God.
So, yeah.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be called the same or a slight variation?
Guess what? I still know.
I actually know.
It's a pretty badass time to be a horror fan, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
The content is coming thick and fast, and most of the time, it's pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think there's crap coming out as well, but you just kind of don't. It just gets lost, like the Slender Man movie. That came out. I didn't even. It came away, and I didn't even know. Didn't realize.
Yeah. I feel like I don't care either, so that's all right.
Yeah. There's also TV. I mean, Sabrina is out now. The new Sabrina. Have you watched it?
No,
I'm
not
gonna
yet.
give it a go, but I've added it to my list. That's how much of a commitment I've put in.
Yeah, we've watched it. We watched a few episodes. Have you? This is based on. It's sort of based on they redid the comic book, like a really scary version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch as a comic book. And I thought they were going to go as full on horror as that. The TV show is a little more Riverdale than I don't know if have you seen any Riverdale yet? Have you?
I haven't, but I know what it is, and I've seen some visuals. So I'm assuming like sort of teen thing.
It's got a teen drama,
Bit of a Dawson's Creek element to it.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's made by the same people, and it's good. It's definitely got some there's some brutal stuff happening. A lot of blood, a lot of proper witchcraft stuff going on.
Okay.
And there's tons of references to like horror movies. Like all the witches keep talking about living life deliciously. There's like a lot of goats and stuff. There's one episode where the two sisters get sewed together, and they refer to one of them. Oh, there's a guy who's got he absorbed his twin in the womb, and he shows like he's got like a face on his stomach with like a blinking eyeball and stuff. And he said it's my dark half, and like a little Stephen King.
That's X-Files.
What's that? What someone absorbs the?
There was an X-Files episode where someone's got like a conjoined twin, sort of like living on their body, like in a circus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good. It's definitely good for horror fans, but it's just still got that Riverdale-y teen drama. There's a lot of like gender politics and stuff thrown in as well. Like there's a lot of like anti-patriarchy stuff, like transgender issues, which is fine. But I don't know if I want that in all that sort of thrown at me.
In your Sabrina the Teenage Witch, you want a talking cat. You want hijinks.
That's the thing. The cat doesn't talk. Salem doesn't.
Does he not? Right, I'm not watching it. Cancelled.
Yeah, there we go. That's enough.
Yeah.
I was sold until you said the cat doesn't talk. Fuck that.
It's very cute. It purrs, and it does that thing where you stroke its back and its tail goes up, its bum goes up, rises with your hand.
You love that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could watch the rest of it, Luke, and if the cat does talk in one of the episodes, then I'll watch that one.
Okay. that 5-minute clip. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else done any other horror stuff? Any other guffs? Read, watched, played?
Good for Andy.
I've been blazing away. Been doing all sorts. I started the month with some old stuff. I went and watched Freddy vs. Jason again. That was a lot of fun. And then Hill House, we mentioned, we went through. I've been through loads of junk on Netflix that I could have on in the background and not pay attention to. Classics such as Open House and Wind Chill. They were special in their own way. And then I've been playing some horror games as well. I played. I've started Hellblade, which sort of a psychological horror. This lady whose lover has died. She's having to go into Helheim to try and get his soul back. And it's the one that's based on all of they did loads of studies into like psychosis and everything as well, so you're meant to play it with headphones.
Yeah.
And as you go through, it's all like whispering at you the whole time you go through, and it's quite unnerving so far. So yeah, that was good. And I've started like an old retro style game as well, like a survival horror game called Uncanny Valley, where you're a guy who is in the middle of nowhere, this lab where they hardly have any staff, and you're the night watchman, and you go through several nights, and you have to do your patrol route, and you're shining your torch down all the corridors, and then murders start to happen, and you can choose how you can survive and escape. I've done one playthrough of that, which I guess was the bad ending you're meant to get the first time, when I had my arms and legs chopped off. But then you can go through again several times. It encourages you to go through several times to like get different stories and different experiences out of it. So more of that to come.
What is that? 3D. What is that? What?
No, it's I got it on the Xbox. It was on sale for like £2 the other day. It's like a old 2D graphics type of style. Have you ever played games like Another World and things like that? Looks like those.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I like the art style on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that. It's really good.
Yeah. Uncanny Valley. Yeah, I heard of that one. What about you, Ben?
Not all that much horror related this week, apart from Hill House, finishing that. I did watch Bohemian Rhapsody today, which was really good. I really liked it. It's been kind of getting quite panned critically, and sort of makes out that it's a bit of a... It does feel like a sort of greatest hits of Queen squashed into a 2-hour, and I think they've taken some liberties with the timeline and some bits of career. But I think, despite that, I still think it's a really enjoyable film, and it's like you've got all the great pomp of the Queen performance, and you've also got like the human side to everybody, I think. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend it. It's definitely up there with my favourites, I think, for this year.
Yeah.
Rami Malek is amazing as Freddie Mercury. There are like times when you could close your eyes and you'd be like, that's Freddie Mercury, without a doubt. Obviously not the singing bits, he mimes along to them.
Is that original recordings or something?
Yeah, he mimes along to original recordings, and I think there are live recordings as well, because of the phrasing of some of the songs is a bit different to recordings. Yeah. But yeah, just him talking and just his mannerisms and just him in general, really, really well done. And a lot of reviews I read said that they kind of brush over Freddie's sexuality a little bit and they focus on his relationship he has with a woman. They don't do that at all. They kind of really they deal with the whole story of that really well, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Give it a go.
I like Rami Malek. I liked Mr. Robot. That's pretty cool. I've ever done it. Oh no, I watched The Night Comes for Us, which is if you not by the people who made the Raid films, but it's got the same actors, and it almost feels like a sequel to those films as well. So if you like South Korean films where people get extremely violent and just stab and rip like faces apart, that's all it is. It's like watching like a 2-hour long video game, sort of just so violent, so gory. There's arms like doubling back over themselves and stuff. There's someone gets stabbed in the mouth with a cardboard box cutter. It's good. I mean, it's good fun to watch, but I mean, don't expect like an emotional story. And it does get a bit like, I know some people can do that for forever, but I get a bit fatigued. I need some sort of a story to sort of pull me through, but it's definitely worth a go.
Oh, nice! It reminds me, I watched one I missed from my list. I watched Belko Experiment as well. Which went to watch for a while. Sort of hideous violence just reminded me, because that gets quite intense at points.
How did you find it?
Yeah, I liked it. It's another take on like the whole battle royale thing, isn't it? Which I haven't watched for many years, but I remember really liking. But yeah, it was good.
I quite like that.
It's got Dr. Cox in it as a. It's got Michael Rooker in it as well. It's got
Michael Rooker, and it's got Sean Gunn as well, isn't it? He's in there as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I need to watch that again. I quite liked it the first time round.
It's on Netflix at the minute, I think.
Yeah. Cool. So, but today we're talking about the 2018 Halloween. Ben, do you want to give us some details?
Sure thing. So Halloween is a 2018 American slasher film directed by David Gordon Green and written by David Gordon Green, Jeff Fradley, and Danny McBride. And it's the 11th installment of the Halloween film series, and it's a direct sequel to the 1978 film of the same name, while effectively retconning all previous sequels, which is... that's quite nice, isn't it? So Laurie Strode comes to her final confrontation with Michael Myers, the masked figure who has haunted her since she narrowly escaped his killing spree on Halloween night 4 decades ago.
Yeah, I'm quite glad we watched the original not that long ago. A couple of months ago or something.
Because...
I don't know. Actually, it was probably longer than we think. Oh, wait,
close. It was quite close to the top of the top 50, wasn't it? So
yeah. And it was the end of June.
Okay, yeah. So I'm really glad we watched that recently, because I kind of feel like if you don't know that film, or don't have it fresh in your mind, this one might not be as effective because a lot of like the way it mirrors, a lot of like the the opening credits with the rotten pumpkin is sort of like in reverse. I just feel like I enjoy this film a lot more because of how close it links to that original film.
Yeah, I think you're right. There are obviously plenty of callbacks to the original film. Plenty of like the atmosphere is very, very similar, and obviously it references what happened in the original film a lot without massively explaining everything to you. You kind of get to hear a little bit about Laurie Strode and how obviously it's affected her and what she remembers of that night, which is obviously everything, and then Michael Myers, what he's been doing in prison since. So, but it doesn't kind of like whack you over the head with every single sort of thing. Yeah,
I think I don't think it's a perfect film. I do think this is like there's something that happens when you get John Carpenter's score and then you've got a woman running away in the middle of the night from Michael Myers. That it's just like there's like a sort of like a perfect combination of ingredients that just works so well. Like I was like smiling my head off in the cinema at those moments. I just felt like something that we don't really get properly anymore. Like we always get slashes that are like tongue in cheek or like because since Scream anyway. But it just felt like really an authentic, scary slasher. It's exactly what
it's like a perfect storm of really, really simple ingredients that, you know, on the surface it's not all that complicated in terms of plot but just what it does with atmosphere and visuals and music and, you know, I just think obviously there was a bit of humor within the script, but it wasn't to the film's detriment. It wasn't like taking a piss out of the genre or taking a piss out of, you know, the fact that this is a film 40 years after the original. It didn't really sort of touch on those bits at all. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and there were loads of bits in the script which sort of made me smile. And even though at the same time I don't think it didn't like blow me away. It wasn't like, oh my god, I've got to see that again. That was absolutely amazing. It just kind of ticked all the boxes I think I wanted it to and needed it to.
Yeah.
It wasn't cringeworthy. It wasn't well, I say it wasn't cliche, but the cliches it did kind of touch on sort of felt like they were done well enough, and that a lot of them, you know, that this film is like the originator of some of those cliches, so it kind of feels more genuine, doesn't it?
Yeah. What were your initial thoughts, Andy?
Going through the whole thing, I think it was, like you guys say, it's nice to see when that score kicks in, and some of the moments are like proper classic slasher movie moments and proper classic slasher movie like tropes that it plays into. Going through as I sort of watched it, I found the way some of the camera work came through was phenomenal. There are some, and I guess we'll cover this when we go through, but there are some individual set pieces. In particular, the one that pretty much is from that lady's front window, and you have a look, and then you see him come around the side, and the camera doesn't really move. That's great.
Yeah.
I found some of the story beats towards the end, particular, and we'll get to that. I think that was a little maddening in some moments, but on the whole, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good sort of hit of nostalgia. Yet it was new enough and had some modern elements to it as well that made for an enjoyable film, I thought.
Yeah, for sure. So
it's probably worth mentioning that there will be spoilers for.
Yeah,
even though like this film kind of like isn't shocking really. It doesn't do anything that you wouldn't expect.
Like one twist later on in the film that we'll talk about, but other than that, you are right.
Yeah. I think if you had to list everything you were gonna probably see in this film, you know, list 10 things, you'd probably get it right with like 8 of them. It's very much like, what if this happens? Oh yeah, it's kind of already happening. What if this happens? Yeah, that's happened as well. How's this going to play out? Exactly like you imagine. But it doesn't feel, cheap in that way.
Yeah. So we got Jamie Lee Curtis is back as Laurie Strode 40 years later. She's reeling still after the events of the first film, so she's dealing with PTSD. We've all seen the trailer, and we know that she's like turned into what's the name from Terminator 2?
Sarah Connor.
It's gonna be Sarah Connor. Judy Greer pops in to play Karen, her daughter, who the relationship between the two of them has become strained because of his PTSD.
She's had a gutsful. I've had a gutsful of you, Mum.
Yeah. Andi Matichak plays Alison, who's the granddaughter of Laurie Strode. So we've got the 3 generations. I think Alison is the avatar of what we expect a final girl to be these days. She's sort of playing that part quite well. And then there's a new guy that I'm not too keen on, Dr. Sartain, who plays the sort of proxy of Dr. Loomis. Like, I just, even though they say like in the film, you're the new Loomis, like I just found that a little bit too winky.
He sort of tries to distance. He goes, "No, mate, I studied under him, but old."
And he's got a weird accent.
A little Poirot-y little man, isn't he?
Yeah. And then Nick Castle plays the Shape. I think is he one of the original people who played Michael Myers? I saw there's a bit of fuss about him playing it. So maybe it's been in sequels or something, I don't know.
So just looking for so he was the original Michael Myers, but he hadn't been in any of the sequels.
Oh, okay, cool.
So only the first one, 1978.
Yeah. So how does it start? So we'd start with the podcasters, I believe.
Yeah.
Those the worst of the worst people who make podcasts.
Yeah. They're not good podcasters like Present Company. They're no good ones that go around sticking their noses into people's business and somehow getting access to go and see people in prison that haven't spoken for 40 years.
Yeah,
and are allowed to kind of like rile him up a bit as much as they want.
Yeah,
that doctor's got nothing to say about it because they go in, and at first he's doing his broadcast, isn't he? While they're waiting to come in, going, "Kept in here, caged like an animal," and then they nip and see him, and like he sort of looks back at the sketchy doctor a few times, like, "Gonna get the mask out now, yeah?" And he's like, "Yep, I'll allow it." And all the other patients are going mad. There's the penguin there with his umbrella.
There's a dog barking. There's an alarm going off.
Yeah,
it's just a real horrible situation. But Michael Myers is just chilling.
Yeah, not Mike Myers.
Not Mike Myers.
They get his mojo out of the bag. It's been stolen in the 1960s.
Yeah, baby.
And he's back.
He just turns around like,
yeah, and then it goes that did stabbing people up.
Yeah, baby, yeah. So, Michael's the only one who doesn't sort of react, doesn't do anything, and what podcasters they don't get what they went for. They paid some money or something to go in.
I think they just might have arranged that, but because the doctor seemed that he was quite keen that they have a chat to him before he goes to, because they mention at this point that he's due to be transferred to another prison, which they say is like is like hell, and he won't be able to come out of there. So we're just going to put him in the landfill, I guess.
This is the early sort of hints towards the fact that the doctor is almost like he wants him to speak. He's been he's been working with him for decades, never spoke a word, and now he even wants these podcasts to go on, make him say something, just so he can turn around and go, "Fuck you," and he can go, "Yes." Now he's transferred.
I wonder, there should be maybe a DVD extra that shows all the things that he's tried to do to make him talk. Where it's
yeah.
Do you want a biscuit?
Oh, you don't want one?
I'll just eat this then. Perhaps trying to trick him, muttering like idiot says what?
yeah. Idiot says what?
What?
Got you, Michael. Write it down on your notes. What? But no, classic. All we know that he's been trying really hard to get him to talk and is dead keen, so that's why he's happy to let these podcasters wave his mask at him.
He's asleep in his cell and he just appears next. Boo!
I wonder if he tried accusing him of saying something. I heard you say something, Michael. I ain't even that bothered if you talk. What's that?
You're talking to yourself the other day in your cell. God, you're saying some weird shit, weren't you? I don't even bother now. I've heard it all. Don't say a word.
Stop pretending like you're sooty. What's that, Michael? You're a smelly idiot. Oh, okay, I'll write that in there.
Smelly idiot.
Mike Myers sat like that. Michael Myers, for fuck's sake. I'm getting to the point now where when you know two names are so similar, but you shouldn't get them wrong. Like Robin Williams and Robbie Williams. Oh yeah, Robbie Williams is quality as the voice of the genie. Who?
Can you imagine that? Robbie Williams.
Oh no, worst film ever.
Yeah. So they don't get anything out of him. I think then they go to Laurie's house, and she's got a gate up, and she doesn't want to talk to them. I think they ask her. They go inside and they ask her like one question or two, and then that's it. And then
he blows it a bit, doesn't he? Because he's not going to let the guy in because no one likes him really. They all seem to take to the woman that's with him though.
Yeah.
And she says like, "How would you like $3,000?" And she is well up for that.
Yeah.
After all, so she lets her in, and then the interview guy blows it within like one question, doesn't he? He sort of asks her like, the first question is like, "Oh, so how are you?" And then he goes into like, "So Michael Myers made you like a lunatic, didn't he? And you didn't see your daughter or your granddaughter because now you're shit." And he's like, "Well,
you're such a shit mum, aren't you, Laurie? Now answer all my questions from my podcast, but you are the shittest."
Yeah. Oh, cool. You look old.
Those crow's feet, bloody hell, yeah. Jesus Christ! Someone needs some plastic surgery.
And I think you've had a stressful life. And she goes, "Right, sling your hook, mate, but I will take that $3,000."
I'd be like, that wasn't $3,000 worth.
No.
I'd have to refund. I don't know. I'd contend it.
Keep 200.
Yeah. So then I think they leave, and then we see Laurie. She has a Batcave moment, right? Do we see this stuff now?
Yeah, she goes down into the Batcave and has a look at just some of her masses and masses of gear that she has down there.
Yeah, shin pads.
She's got shin pads. She's got the Laurie mobile.
Laurie mobile. She got a belt, a utility belt.
Yeah.
Everything you'd ever need on there.
Got a grappling hooks in there. There's like a butler down there. "Excuse me, Miss Strode."
When you have like a stab-proof vest, because
he's a knife. That's how. That's
his whole thing is knifing the shit out of people. Just have a stab-proof vest.
Also,
that should be the first thing you get.
In this one, he does a lot of twisting people's necks. Like I think half of the kills were him just holding someone up, and then it would come away, and you'd hear it.
Has he been smashing the gym in a?
But this is the thing.
I know he's strong anyway.
He's supposed to be walking that line of supernatural strength.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Well, he's not anymore, is he? Because that's all gone now. Because they make a few efforts to distance themselves from all the sequel stuff. Because he is supernatural in one of the sequels. He has like a curse that gives him mega powers, but he has to kill people.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about him being related to Laurie is undone as well, right?
Yeah. I think that happens now. I think we're introduced to the granddaughter and the family. So we get the husband, Ray, I think his name is, who gets peanut butter on a penis. These are like I think that these are where you see Danny McBride's writing coming in. There's a few moments like this, and I just think that sounds like
there's a few characters who are funny, but not in a ridiculous catchphrasey way, but just in a nice little bit of humor into these scenes between like the real intense stuff.
It's like this guy and the boyfriend's friend, I think, that is totally McBride writing.
Yeah, and maybe the little kid who's getting babysat as well.
Also, I think the little kid who wants to be a dancer and his father's taking him shooting.
That's so weird. We'll come to that.
Okay.
Yeah, that is weird.
So we introduced I think we just basically introduced the concept that Laurie Strode's daughter, can't remember her name, Karen. She she got taken away from him at some point. They don't speak anymore. I don't know, talks about it all anymore or something. And then they've got like a boyfriend character. There's a Halloween disco, the planning, all the usual stuff.
But the night before Halloween disco is the granddaughter is stressed because it's the time that her boyfriend is going to meet the family, right? And that's why the dad's getting peanut butter all over his dick for that occasion.
Yeah.
I need to prepare, lads. All right.
Yeah.
But they seem to know him, right? The boyfriend has a bit of a bad reputation.
Oh, does he? I don't know.
Yeah, the dad's like, the family's no good. So they're sort of nervous, and she's sort of saying, "Oh, but it's all right. He's dead nice." And then she asks, "Oh, did you ask Grandma to come to this time?" Why?
She'll turn up with 2 sawn-off shotguns.
Like, are you gonna ask Grandma? She goes, yeah. But she leaves the house knowing that her mom is a liar because she hasn't phoned her grandma at all. And they have a little walk to school, which is similar to the original, right? This is another walk into school bit.
Yeah. And then when she's at school, she looks out the window and sees.
Yeah, she's like sat in the same seat, like in a very similar classroom, like back left-hand corner, and she looks out and sees, obviously, Laurie where Michael Myers was stood all those years ago. Obviously, a different school, whatever.
Except it's much nicer because original Laurie looked out the window, saw Michael. He gave her a bit of a spooking. Yeah. She looks out the window, sees her grandma, gives her $3,000.
Yeah. Imagine the roles are reversed. Michael Myers, all he wanted to do was give Laurie $3,000 in the first film
that he'd got for giving an unsatisfactory podcast interview.
Yeah, I love that though, because obviously in the original, when Michael Myers like vanishes, she obviously looked away and he just went, "Fucking leg it, get out the shot."
Yeah.
But yeah, she's nipped round, and I think we've met the boyfriend by this point as well, right? And he's excited to have the Halloween party the next day, but he's a bit of a nothing right now, isn't he? They have a chat, and his goofy mate comes over, and just the teenage friends, that some of which may or may not get stabbed up later on, that you get into meet.
Don't get attached to them. Don't get attached to anyone. They might get stabbed up.
Especially the guys talked about bloody Dave. I like Dave in this film. He's talked about doing drugs immediately, and he blows up a pumpkin. It's like, you're getting stabbed, Dave.
Yeah. Poor Dave. I mean, we'll talk about it later, I guess. But I'm surprised that the boyfriend doesn't get.
I know. I thought he was destined to cop it.
Yeah, he's primed for it because he's a dickhead. He does some dick moves, and then normally karma, like slasher karma, comes back on him. But maybe I was thinking that's a purposeful thing because they want to point out that Michael doesn't have a logic or a reason to what he's doing. He just is like a weird wrecking ball just going through the town. So maybe they're trying to do. I don't know. Well, it feels like a bit like a lost.
Yeah. Do you reckon maybe they did film him being killed and they just cut it? I don't know. It seems really weird that we just see him and then he disappears at some point and he's just not seen again.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, logically, I don't know how to get them.
Maybe there's just no way to stick it back in. I don't know.
Yeah, because he just gets left. He just gets left later on, doesn't he? I'd love it
still
if
at the Halloween party. Yeah.
Yeah, I left. I didn't stay in case of an end credit scene. Maybe it'd be brilliant if completely out of left field, it goes back and he's still there, hungover, and Jason Voorhees comes and kills him.
or a singed Michael Myers just turns up.
Still Soz, mate, almost forgot you. But I guess so. She's got $3,000 that she says she'll spend on college, but Laurie says, "Nah, spend it on something else, Xbox games or traveling or something." And then she invites her to come later, and she says, "Nah, I can't. Your mom doesn't like it. Anyway, bye." And she's off.
Anyway, bye.
Toodles, toodle pip. Okay, so is this where the point where the podcasters get murked?
Oh, no, this is the day comes when it's time for Michael Myers to get moved, right? And this is the bit where the family, quite insensitive, because she's kicking off today, but it must be a public record that a big busload of murderers, including famous murderer Michael Myers, is being moved today. So maybe Grandma's going to be a bit doolally on this one day. Maybe he's trying to give her a little bit of slack, but no. So Michael Myers is being moved today, and we see him being loaded onto the bus, and all of the, with all the other patients, and the doctor sort of says, no, I'll go for a ride on the bus today.
I want to come as well. I want to sit next to him. Can I sit next to you?
I'll hang out with him, Frey. I don't want to say goodbye here. I've not, we've got so much more we want to do. So I'll ride on the bus.
Yeah.
How you feeling about the trip then, Mike? What was that, Mike?
Was that, you looking forward to it?
Yeah, looking forward to. Can't wait. Nice one. Yeah. Quality. You want to sing? Should we sing some songs on the bus? Should we say "Wheels on the bus go round and round"?
Which juice box do you want, Michael? Do you want blackcurrant or do you want strawberry?
I'll have both then. One straw, 2 straws in my mouth.
Like
Drink
Stone
both at the
Cold
same
Steve
time.
Austin.
You look a bit parched. You look a bit parched, Michael. All you got to say is, "I want one of those." That's all you got to say. Oh, delicious.
Do you want one of us? Do you not want me to eat this egg sandwich on the bus, Michael? Clearly say no.
Smell that.
Why is he so obsessed with getting him to say something? Is it just
a hobby, I guess?
Yeah, just a dirty bastard.
just a dirty bastard?
He
Yeah.
just wants him to say something. That's not what I wanted you to say. Say something else.
Yeah.
Maybe like,
Tell me how you're gonna do it.
like, because he spent all this time studying, he probably knows exactly what he looks like. Probably just that's the missing thing.
Hello,
Like,
Michael.
Yeah, because last time I heard him talk, he was 6, right? So
Yeah, he's still got the same voice. Hasn't changed. If you don't use it, you lose it.
So, she then Laurie goes to see them do that. Has a bit of an emotional moment to herself, like terrified.
She has a little drink. Does she have
she has a little
drink?
miniature, hasn't she?
She has a little miniature of Uzo.
And then rocks up to the dinner party with the family gathering. Ray, the dad, and the kid, the boyfriend are getting along like a house on fire. It's all going down really great until I think they even high five at one point. I don't know, it's a bit forced. I didn't like it.
Yeah, no good. But
and
then Laurie turns up and downs half of Karen's wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. Hello. She's getting on it like a car bonnet tonight.
She rocks up and says, "Hi, I'm the grandma."
Look. We're going out tonight.
Yeah.
And then sits down and has a bit of a cry. And this is where the family are insensitive. So, "Oh, Mom, you were meant to move on from this."
Yeah.
This
She talks about
terrible
like a dog that's like weed on the carpet.
Yeah.
Put you down, put you out.
There's a lot of like she's clearly got PTSD, but they're like, just get over it.
Yeah.
I'm cured. I never thought about that.
all I needed was someone to shout at me.
Yeah. So
she nips out and has a cry by the road.
Mm-hmm.
She what? Sorry, she
nips out and has a bit of a cry by the road, and the granddaughter who she gets it. She nips out and gives her a hug.
I kind of thought at this moment, if Laurie Strode was so, because she's clearly like she wanted to see him moved. I thought maybe she was going to follow the bus and just make sure it happened without a hitch, which maybe she should have done.
You'd think that, wouldn't you? Or perhaps some police cars should have done that as well. Bearing in mind he's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, literally just a bus on its own. Like anything, someone just lies down in the road and the bus driver gets out. What's going on here then?
Yeah. But either way, no one, not even us, watches happens to the bus. The next thing we see is possibly the most bizarre scene in the film, where a man who is much too old to be that boy's dad.
Yeah, like 80.
Yeah, like a super old man is driving along with like a young kid. He's probably like 12, 13 maybe.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, "Dad, it's just that dance is really my thing right now, so I don't want to go hunting and shooting a dog." Yeah.
Really
he's just in the Vogue hands all the time. And he's like, "Oh, no, I can't even get him right, Dad, because you've made me cancel my dance class, which you as my dad are probably paying for. So, come on."
No, we want to go out in the dead of night and shoot some shit up.
But no, instead of doing that, they find a bus clearly that has a rolled bus in the road, mental patients spilled all over the place. A bit like, again, harkening back to the original when they all get out in the rain.
Yeah. It's pretty much identical. I quite like the fact we see it happens off screen, but at the same time, it's kind of like the most contrived and obvious way for people to escape from prison, kind of ever. And there's not really.
But
I've seen it a million times.
I guess we know. I don't think they ever explicitly say what happened in this one, but we know it must have been the doctor, right? He'd done something. Doctor.
Yeah, it comes up later on, doesn't it? But because. The bus is gone over. There's mental patients all over the road. So, like any sensible man, 80-year-old dad gets out the car and goes, "Oh, I'll just go and check all these fellas are all right."
Yeah.
And he nips off. The lad phones the phones the ambulance, like 911. But then I don't know what question they ask him.
I'll go
because
find out.
It says, "Oh, all right, I'll just go and find out." Like,
I think they say, "Where the hell are you?"
Is the question, are there any murderers there? Do you want to just ask? I'll go find out. And he goes, and he nips out. He has a walk around. He finds a policeman that's mangled in the ditch that tells him to run.
Snapped, I think, as well, isn't he? There's no one that's got snapped.
No, I don't know. He's just a bit poorly, isn't he? He's
run.
Yeah, someone's punched him in the dick.
Yeah. So that's why he's all hoarse. And then he runs into the bus. The doctor does like a proper, like, going back to my arcade days, he does like a Virtua Cop moment because the kid has got a gun and he's creeping into the bus to see what's going on, and that doctor jumps out and surprises him. Don't shoot me!
yeah. And he shoots him. -100 killed civilian.
-1 life, and he goes, "Oh, bastard!" So he runs out frustrated, sees his dad's had his neck all snapped, and then dashes back to the car. And who should be in the back of his car but famous and, remembering our conversation on the original Halloween, well-known car driver Michael Myers.
Yeah. When did he learn how to drive a car? When did he have his lessons? When?
Maybe all the energy and brain power he doesn't use with talking means he can pick up skills like that.
Yeah.
Because he went to prison when he was 6. He has driven a car on one occasion. When he got out in 1978, when he spent all that time cruising around with his Halloween music on. He does when that car drives past it. That car in number 1, when it drives past Laurie, actually plays the and he's like cruising past really slow.
Imagine he got in the car though for the first time and just kept stalling over and over again.
Kangarooing it down the road. So Michael Myers is in the back of the car. I guess he could have just stolen the car, but he decides to wait so he can give that boy.
Did he need the keys? I figured maybe there's something to do with the keys.
Maybe he did.
Why would the kid have the keys?
Is this the first time he's killed a kid in these films? I know he's killed a dog.
He's killed and eaten dogs, hasn't he? But I don't think he's killed any kids before, has he?
It seems a bit harsh to me that he's going to kill such a young boy.
I thought it was quite.
He doesn't kill him in a very violent way, does he? He just wobbles him until he dies.
He doesn't, because he clearly has no interest in killing babies.
No,
because there's a crying baby at this point, which he kind of just looks at and just walks past. Does he even look at it, or does he walk past it as if it's just nothing?
He just walks past, I think.
Yeah,
because he goes into the room with the baby, doesn't, and then just goes, "Nah, mate, off."
Well, just goes.
Probably soiled itself. He's like, nah, leave that.
Leave that.
So where do we go to now? Now we've got the party or something, or
now we're at the gas station. Where
they go to the gas station, and it's I think we have a little bit of crossover here, don't we, between what's going on at the gas station and the policeman first turning up to see the state of the bus, where it's all been gone, and they find the doctor has been shot but is not dead.
Yeah. they get into the bus as well, and they're like, "God, what's going on here?" And he goes, "Don't shoot!" And I've been shot again.
Yeah.
So they find him and they take him off to the hospital, but everyone else is all mashed. So we'll touch on this now while it goes to do this, not for this emergency. But they notice as well that when they're at the hospital, they're talking about the man having been shot, and go, "Oh, so we need to find out who the prisoners are, which ones of them escaped." And they describe, like, well, a couple of them only minor crimes, a couple of them we found skipping around in a field chasing butterflies. Why were these people all off to, like, hell on earth prison then?
Yeah.
Right, I'm sorry, you're too crazy. These
I love butterflies.
No.
When he say a few of them are checking their emails in the local library. He does say that, doesn't he? How do you remember your logins?
Yeah, so basically, a lot of people that don't seem as if they have that many problems, really, minor criminals, now ship them all to hell.
Ship them all to the shit. to the shithole because there's absolutely no point in. Oh, poor Michael Myers is just like he's the worst of the bunch, but deep down he just wants to go check his emails.
Maybe they had to like negotiate the trade or what have you. It's like, right, we'll give you Michael Myers. Oh, Michael Myers need. And it's like, right, you can have Michael Myers, but you've got to have all these as well if you want to take him. We need the best.
We've got to have the Butterfly Twins and the email guys as well. Yeah. Oh,
all right, fine. The Penguin's got to go over all those fellas. So off they go. And then we go to the gas station, I guess. So we're back at our podcast friends, right?
Is he following the podcast people? How does he know where they are? They could be like...
Could be literally
anywhere. Yeah.
Oh, maybe when he escaped, he has got like a Find My Mask app on his phone.
Yeah, maybe they're tweeting about where they are, like the podcast is on the road.
Yeah, and he follows them.
Yeah,
yeah, because he just turns up there pretty much, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he just goes and gets like a boiler suit, which is pretty much identical to the mechanic suit he had before.
He must have got the mechanic in there because this is a nice bit, isn't it? Because they get in petrol. They go. The lady says she needs the toilet and has a hilarious "I'm British" incident with the pet. You know the Lewis, and then I was like, "What? This is an alien fucking language." I mean the bathroom. He goes, "Oh yeah, it's in there." And,
you know what the Lewis? The what?
Sorry, I can't get that from context at all, love. I'm gonna have to just scream you what at you. Yeah. But that's a nice little scene. I don't know if you noticed it, but like as you see her walk into the toilet, you see, I guess, the mechanic or the petrol station attendant getting punched in by Michael Myers in the background.
Just like a nice little like
that.
Yeah, it's Michael Myers there. Get out of there, Luke! Luke, get out of there!
He has a thing against podcasters these days, so you have to be careful.
Jeez. So as the lady's off to the toilet, you see also the man, the guy who's shit at asking questions that are getting thrown out of people's house. He opens the boot of their car, and you see his mask is in the boot, don't you? And he gives a smile to that lady in the bus who totally blanks him.
Just goes, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Even though she's like a Jesus bus, she should be friendly. No. So then the lady nips to the toilet. Is in there. Most of the cubicles are gross, means you have to go to the end one. And then in walks someone who we assume is Michael Myers. We don't know yet because we only see boots. And he checks all the cubicles. Fair enough, because as the lady established, they were both gross.
They're both gross. And he checks all the cubicles as you would. Just smash the door in as hard as you can. Anyone in there? Oh, well, what about the next one? Bang!
Yeah. So she's getting a little bit nervous, and then he relatively gently tries that one, and she goes, "Oh, someone in here," and he seems satisfied by that, at least for a minute.
Yeah. At least for a minute. He goes, Actually, I ain't done a murder for at least 45 seconds.
Because he's already got, he's borrowed the overalls from one of the mechanics in the garage, and has borrowed some teeth from the shop attendant, and then he just pops them over the top, doesn't he?
It's weird. I do wonder why he did that. Like, what is he trying to be scary, or is he?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Maybe it's a present.
It's Michael Myers is the grave thing. It's like a bit of an arty sort of type.
I was about to say, he gets these ideas, doesn't he? I bet all that time he's not talking, he's thinking, right, I did that gravestone last time I was out. This time, I reckon I'll punch someone in and get their teeth out, and then I'll drop them over. It'll be so spooky.
But he did it like with his 6-year-old kid's voice. And then I'm gonna
I'm going to sprinkle the teeth all over the finger. The people are all beautiful.
Yeah, and that's him with his crayons doing his arts and crafts.
And when she don't appreciate it and just screams, she just goes, "You ungrateful bitch!"
And then he gives the door a rattling.
Hello, miss. Yeah.
And
you're doing a number 1 or a number 2 in there.
And he's having none of it. So she crawls under she tries for an escape. And this is a good scene. This is quite a tense little escape. Like one of the bits where you're screaming at the screen, going, "Oh, the other cubicles are unlocked, no love. He's going to get you immediately."
Yeah.
And she's scrambling underneath just as he beats the door in, and then he it's hard to say. He like drags her, but then he goes to the other door, and then you think he's got her, and then Matey comes in because he, in the meanwhile, has gone to pay for the petrol, and has found that the petrol station attendant is sort of collapsed over the counter. He can't really see that he's got his bottom jaw smashed off, can he?
Oh yeah, the jaw's like 90 degrees the wrong way.
Yeah. So he's just looked in, probably gone, lazy shithead, sleeping on the job. And
Americans.
And he's nicked a Twix and has walked out the shop. Because, of course, all their money's been given away to Laurie Strode. Yeah. So they've got no snack money anymore. So he goes to walk out and he nips into the toilet, only to see old Mike Myers has got the podcast lady cornered in the cubicle, and he's given her a bit of a strangling. And he's got a crowbar on him, hasn't he? Because he has got a crowbar. So he very bravely dashes at Mike Myers, goes to twat him, but it doesn't work, and he gets proper smashed up.
Does he get his
face smashed in? He gets smashed. He gets his face smashed into a wall a few times, and then his face smashed into the cubicle door over and over until his face is pretty much flat.
Yeah.
Is he definitely dead?
I don't think he still got his eyes open at the end.
Yeah, he's just a bit. He might be smashed up. So maybe we'll see him return to do another podcast in the future.
Yeah,
that'll be a great episode.
I got my face fucked up by Michael Myers. Gutted.
Yeah, he could go around touring America, getting his face smashed in by like famous violent mics.
Violent mics on the mic.
Violent mics on the mic.
On the mic. I hope this podcast is called On the Mic.
On the mic, but the mic is spelled with a Y.
Yeah.
Like
they just go around riling up as many mics as they can. Finally, one snapped and fucked me up.
Yeah, and that'll be his new podcast series. So he gets that, but then the lady then tries to attack Mike Myers again. She gets the crowbar, but loses the bottle, doesn't she? And then he does that famous move that Luke mentions earlier. He gives her a picking up and a twisting.
Yeah.
That's it.
Move.
Yeah.
I was a bit sad about it. I thought they might last to the end of the film. I didn't realise they were such fodder to be dispatched so early. It would have
been nice if one of them or both of them survived and returned later on. But
I think they could have had a more modern take on the Loomis character, like someone who knows about it, that's following the case around a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things he'd probably do, and this is the place he'd probably go, and all that stuff. But alas,
too bad for them. At least one of them is definitely dead, and the other one probably is going to need a week or so off.
Yeah,
might miss the upload deadline that week.
And then we get like Halloween Day. I think we actually go to the 31st of October, right? And then
we do, because this is sorry, we've been a bit out of sync here, because this is when they've been talking in the hospital about the people chasing butterflies, and the sheriff turns up. You can tell he's the sheriff because he has the biggest hat, and says, "What are we going to do? Cancel Halloween?" Yes.
Yes.
Definitely cancel Halloween, because there is a murderer.
There is a murderer on the loose.
Is the cop the same actor as before?
I'm not sure. They imply the deputy, the deputy that's in it, they say was a deputy in the 1978 Michael Myers thing, but I don't know if the sheriff is the same. The only other thing I know the deputy guy from, who's in it quite a bit, is that he is one of the baddies in the Tom Jane Punisher.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
Mr. Glass.
He's the one who gets framed by the Punisher for sleeping with his wife, doesn't he? Yeah. Sleeping with John Travolta's wife.
He appears to have bounced back, though, from being killed in that carpet and being stabbed to death by John Travolta. He's back again. Now he's on the right side of the law.
So then it's like the Halloween party. I think we've got around here. Is that right? So we've got the kids. They're all dressed up as Bonnie and Clyde, like a reverse.
Yeah, because they've done a reverse Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
At the Halloween party. Her other friend,
Clonny and Bide.
Yeah, Clonny and Bide. So they're Clonny and Biden up at the Halloween party. Meanwhile, her other friend is babysitting her other friend who we meet at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
I forget what her name is. She is blonde friend.
Vicky, I think her name.
Yeah, Vicky. I like Vicky.
Yeah.
You know, hope nothing goes wrong for her. She has a long and eventful life.
Yeah.
But she is doing some classic Halloween babysitting.
Everyone else is like the biggest party of the year. You think she'd go, I can't. I've got to go to my school Halloween dance. But no, she got shipped in to do some babysitting, and she's gutted about it.
Yeah, she's looking after a pretty cool kid actor. Actually, he's very funny. I like him a lot. But it's okay because her boyfriend Dave is coming round with some of that alakazam.
With some of the alakazam, boy.
Yeah, that's a great. It's a great little scene here when the kid is like, "Oh, so I'm going to tell my mom you're coming around. Your boyfriend's coming around. And you're going to smoke weed." And it's like, "Well, I'm going to tell your mom about your internet browser history." It's like, "Oh, shit,
you wouldn't."
He's like cutting his toenails or something.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, if you'd read me a story, I wouldn't be sitting here cutting my nasty ass toenails."
It's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Yeah. So Michael's out now. Michael's on the loose. We get
he's on the loose, and he's in full costume now.
Yeah.
He's in full Halloween costume. He's gone to a lot of effort.
He's got his full thing, and then this is where we have some of those nice little scenes, isn't it? Where
nice long
it's
shot.
almost a bit of a montage, isn't it? Where I think the first one is the one where he's out and he almost bumps into some kids. Oh, sorry, mister, and he's like, "Oh, almost spoke then." You almost said,
"Don't worry about it, guys."
I mean, don't worry about it, lads. and then angry that he's almost been tricked into speaking to just return a pleasantry, he has a look into that lady's garage and sees there's a hammer there, and then he follows that lady into the kitchen, gives her a hammer in, and then upgrades to the dirty old knife that she's just made a sandwich with. Even though it's covered in Nutella or whatever.
It's covered in Nutella, but he licks it off first. Waste not, want that.
Yeah.
And then he just continues going on a killing spree, doesn't he? Walking into people's houses and just knifing people in the neck.
The second one is the one that is... Oh, it's almost spoiled by the CG of the actual knife kill.
Neck, yeah.
But the bit where he actually looks through the window is a very nice shot because it's almost static. So, when he looks at that window, and then you sort of see him round the side window coming through, and then the lady comes to the front of it. I really enjoyed that bit. I thought it was very cleverly done.
It's almost those bits are really disconcerting because they're almost too real in a way.
Yeah,
like it just looks so. There's like no pomp.
Where's the back door not locked?
Yeah, well, it's America. Oh, it's too friendly of it, aren't they? So it's like a little neighborhood sort of thing, suburban place, and we just see like him just walking around the corner, just see him going into the back. It just looks so real. So until the knife goes in, and it just goes in so quick. That knife shouldn't be that sharp, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just in some woman's kitchen.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the only way you could get away with that if there was an opening scene before thing where like it was a birthday the day before Halloween. It was like, oh, I got you these new Japanese steel knife that you wanted. Look at this. Look how fast it cuts everything. And it's like, oh, should I really have a knife this sharp? Well, you're only going to be using it for making Nutella sandwiches.
Yeah.
It'll probably stay sharp for years. All right, brilliant. As long as I don't use it for anything else, and then later it comes back.
Yeah. So then we have the Halloween party, I think, right? So then we have the argument. There's sort of like stuff that I don't feel like really needed in the film at all, really. The little side plot.
No, because it doesn't actually go anywhere. Well, the only thing it might cause is someone else's death a bit later on. But at first, everyone's having a lovely time at the party. Then, our main final girl nips out and takes a call with Vicky, which is when they talk about the alakazam that Dave's going to bring round. And she says they'll go round to the house afterwards, but then nips back into the room to find out that her boyfriend and his mate have been getting drunk, and then her boyfriend is having a cheeky little snog with a girl dressed as lesser-known Marvel character Tigra, by the look of things.
Right, yeah.
We've got to commend her for that, if anything.
Yeah. So, I really like the Avengers briefly run animated series in the 90s. I'm going to dress as Tigra. But
She really loves a bit of a gender swap, Bonnie and Clyde. She loves that. Nothing gets her going more than that.
always had a thing for Bonnie, but not into girls. If only there was a scenario where.
Perfect. This Halloween party sorted me right out.
So they're away, but obviously just in time for old Clyde to walk back in, and she is livid, as she's very right to be.
Pulls out a Tommy gun. Starts wailing bullets at him.
Well,
but
all too real in America, I think.
Oh, right, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Not wanting to become another statistic, she just storms out instead.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend goes after her, has a bit of a shouting at her, and classic dick boyfriend move in one of these films. Like, it's like, oh, it wasn't anything, and maybe it's your problem because your grandma's mad. And then just at that time, Laurie tries to phone her granddaughter, and she looks at her phone, and the boyfriend, he gets right. Oh, I'll take your precious phone, and he dunks it in some tzatziki. He
Ambrosia.
Yeah,
and you're
chucks it into what it looks like a blancmange.
No one's touched it over. They've been at this party for hours because he's got smashed, and no one's touched that blancmange in the old time. Someone's fuming. They made that.
I'm sorry. Though.
Maybe they just had this argument just to have put her phone out of commission, like just to get that plot point in there.
That's one of those things, though, as well. Like, I can suspend an amount of disbelief, but I know how expensive phones are. If someone shook my phone in blancmange and it was still ringing when they chucked it in, you know you've got a short window of time to get that out of that blancmange.
Get out immediately, wouldn't you?
Before it gets into those crevices. You'd have been straight into that. And you go, right, get this out. It would have been, like, even if it then stopped working, I would have been fine with that, but she wouldn't just leave it in there.
You've got to react with these things. I dropped my phone then. I dropped my phone in the toilet once, but my reactions, my hand followed the phone, so it was submerged for such a short amount of time. Like, it was submerged for 1/100th of a second, or I don't know, probably not
like
that.
Clean at the time, or
yeah, and I pulled it out immediately. I was drunk as well, so I was out somewhere, and I literally dropped it. I went, whoa, and it was absolutely fine.
Like bullet time.
Yeah, it was submerged. It was in and out before it even had a chance to realise it was in the water.
The water hadn't even got inside. There was that air bubble that hadn't worked its way out yet. Good save. But no, she doesn't do that. Like, which is the only way you could distinguish. Like, that's you could have told me it was a documentary up to this point. As soon as she got there, I was like, no, not realistic. So she just leaves. She leaves it in the blancmange and just goes, right then, fuck you, I guess, bye. And then she just leaves. We find out later who she leaves with and what she's up to. But this is when we go back to the babysitting house where Vicky has tucked the little boy into bed the once, and this is when old Dave rocks up, right?
Yeah, so Dave rocks up, and they have a smoke and a pancake at this point or something?
Yeah, they're gonna have a bit of a smoke. He's got the old Alakazam, and he also shows her that he's had a tattoo done. To which she responds that she's gonna dry hump the fuck out of him.
And he goes,
yes, in.
What's the tattoo? The tattoo is just a date. It's
just the date of Halloween. Yeah.
But why? What's so special about? Because
maybe in the future, like, that was going to be the night they look at it and said, "Oh, that was the night we had that Alakazam and dry fucked each other." Yeah. Yes. What a time. So that's what they do. And then the little boy comes running down the stairs and says that there was a man in like the corridor.
The boogeyman. The boogeyman.
The boogeyman. The boogeyman. And this is the best bit with. Honestly, like it took me out of it a little bit, but I loved it. And where he goes, "Oh, come on, little dude," there's never go. Shut up, Dave.
Well, and then while she goes upstairs to like look to see if the boogeyman's
she's like, "No, send Dave."
Yeah, send Dave. Dave goes out, start get revving up the old motorcycle, doesn't they?
Yeah, so he's revving up the motorcycle conveniently, so you can't hear someone being a motorcycle, which is exactly enough decibels, so you won't hear someone get murdered. Yeah. She checks for the boogeyman. She does like a little fake out, doesn't she? Where she goes, "What are you doing here? Get out!" And then she comes around. No, it's all right. There's no boogeyman really. He goes back to bed, but the cupboard door won't close. This is in the trailer, which is a shame because this is a really good scare. And the door won't close, and she tries it a couple of times, and it's because it's Michael Myers, and he nips out, "Yeah, baby," and he the little boy goes running off down the stairs. And I swear at some point he like goes, "No, Dave, you go upstairs and get killed. I'm going, bye." And then the little boy legs it out the house. We assume then that he's...
I thought maybe Vicky was going to survive because she's putting up a good fight, and then it almost seems like Dave is going to go up and try and help her, but then it kind of cuts away, doesn't it?
I think
obviously she gets burped.
This whole film, we do sort of care for, like, I didn't want any of these people to die. Most of them seemed pretty cool. Like, the podcasters, I thought they were going to live. I thought Vicky was going to survive to some extent. The only one I didn't really care about is the next guy to die after these. You know, the Dracula friend guy.
Yeah. Sort of husky Dracula.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. Like in the first one, I think they went out of their way to make some of the friends quite unpleasant, right? Like there was the friend that like just needed somewhere to shit in the first one. There was the boyfriend that implies that he's going to take his girlfriend's clothes off, and then the kid that she's babysitting.
Yeah, what is that bit all about? That is so strange.
Pedo Mike from the first one.
I'm going to take your clothes off. Oh yeah, now you got me going. And the kids. What? Oh, you ruined it.
You find it, mate. I've got carried away. I'm so sorry. No.
We'll let my true self come out again. Fuck.
Yeah. So converse to that, these guys, Vicky, really nice. Dave, quite funny. All right, but they all cop it, and it's no good. So you're right. Next we go back to I can't keep calling the granddaughter. What's her name?
Alison.
Yeah. So we go back to Alison, who's walking back with someone else's name I don't remember. Let's call him Wallace. So she's walking home with Wallace. Husky Dracula, and
but just before this, doesn't the police officer go into the house with the babysitter and he sees Michael Myers just like casually strolling out?
Yeah, he is because he's doing one of his art attacks, isn't he? Because he's put the ghost sheet over Vicky's body, and Dave's pinned to a wall downstairs. Dave has died off camera.
This is an art attack. This is an art attack. This is art attack.
Another classic John Carpenter tune.
Yeah. There's a synthy version of that.
That's way too funky.
Yeah, it's pretty funky. But that's a nice callback to obviously the original, isn't it? The sheet over the head and the
also the guy's pinned to the wall.
So he's pretty much recreated both kills there, hasn't he? Well, he's homaged both of them. He's like, I get that. The podcasters would love this if I hadn't murdered the shit out of them.
He's done Michael Myers is really arty in his six trouble. Yeah, what I've done here is a homage to my original work.
I'm going to do a big art attack in the garden, but you can only see it from the top window. Get yourself up there. Yeah, that's it. Look, arranged all the bodies. It looks a skull. Yeah? Oh, nice one.
And so he's done one of those. But you're right, Mr. Glass from The Punisher comes back and sees Mike Myers wandering out, and he goes after him, tells him to stop, because he's responding to a domestic disturbance. I'm imagining that someone's phoned the police after that little boy's gone legging out the house.
Yeah. Someone was revving a motorcycle really loud, and then a kid went running out, and then there was loads of screaming.
Yeah, so phone the police. He goes around to take a look. for some reason, as soon as he knows it's Michael Myers, still tells him to stop. You just shoot him full of bullets, wouldn't you?
Stop! All right, mate, you got me. You got me. You got me. All right, I'll come quietly.
Right, Michael Myers arrested. Got you. Back to that hell prison.
This is where Laurie rocks up, right? With the
Then Laurie rocks up, and she does wing him in the shoulder, right? But his power walks off. And then the policeman
does a cartwheel off. Woo!
Yeah, the policeman comes up behind her, makes a jump, and then they're too busy. They know each other. She's like, "Oh, it's you, Mr. Glass." And she's like, "Oh, it's you, Laurie Strode. What are you doing here?" "Well, shooting Michael Myers is what I'm up to." And then all the other policemen turn up, but he's scarpered and he's gone. He's buggered off.
This is the point where the Loomis guy comes in and she says, "Oh, you're the new Loomis."
Yes, and he goes, "Oh, I studied under him for many years." Yeah. But I'm slightly more creepy. Yeah. Whereas Loomis was like, nah, his MO was clear. He helped him for a set note. He helped him for 6 months or whatever, and then tried to spend the next 20 years making sure he'd stay in prison. This guy is a little bit more sympathetic towards him, isn't he? But
he's got feelings. Yeah. This is where Alison's friend.
You're right, because then this is when you sort of see they're driving about, aren't they? And if you see them walking down the shortcut, you see police cars going back in the background. So it's all happening in a fairly small radius, right?
Yeah.
And then they go and take a creepy shortcut through someone's garden that involves climbing over really spiky, dangerous fences.
Yeah. It's so dangerous, but we've all done it. And almost died, almost got impaled.
I think at some point between the climbing of the spiky, dangerous fences, we see that Karen and her husband Ray have gone to Laurie's house because it's the most secure place. So the police are just looking for Alison because she's out and about. We hear that the dance has been evacuated, and they're out looking for the granddaughter so they can all go back to the safety of Laurie Strode's Fort Knox super secured home alone house that she has. So they're off looking for her, and then we go and have a moment where first Alison is talking to Husky Dracula, and he says, "Oh, you deserve better than your douchebag boyfriend. Take me, for example. I wouldn't throw your phone into a blancmange. I know how expensive those things are. 2-year contract."
2-year contract.
He's got the money to pay up front. You're going to be tied to that for ages. But they climb over the fence, and then he reads the signals wrong and tries to give her a snog, doesn't he? Bad move.
So she mugs him off, and she goes, "See you later, you absolute douche." Leaves him there in the garden, but he starts getting into a conversation with what he thinks is just like the neighbour, just lurking.
Yeah. Even if it was a neighbour, why would he just be standing there, not saying anything, just a creepy silhouette?
Oh,
unless that's just a classic neighbour.
Don't you guys do that? Don't you try and, even though you've got a motion sensor on your light, don't you try and sneak out into the very back of your garden and hide in the conifers?
Just in case we were taking a shortcut, bastards.
Yeah.
So he tries to run away, tries to climb over the fence, and obviously he's calling after Alison, and then she witnesses the murder, witnesses the deaded. He gets shanked while he's on the fence. And this is the first time she comes face to face with him, yeah.
Yeah, and then he falls over onto the spikes. He's got one in the gob as well, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Yeah, so, you're right. He sees Michael Myers. She screams and pegs it off.
This is one of those magical moments in the film where the soundtrack, it affects like a slightly twist on the original theme, but it's got this sort of crazy bowing sort of freaky noises going over it, and it just she starts running away, and it just felt really classic Halloween slasher.
Yeah, I mean the soundtrack is amazing. The soundtrack sort of, I mean the soundtrack to the original is quite sparse, isn't it? And there's not that much of it, but obviously it's used really well in the most impactful moments. But there's absolutely loads of it, and some of it's really, really sort of creepy, and I think it just really ups the ante in terms of the atmosphere.
Yeah. So I think we're coming to the point where there's the twist, where I think if there's ever going to be a point of contention for people to not like this film, I think this might be that one thing, right? So I don't know how you guys felt about that. I don't know. I could only think that the only reason they did this was to get Michael to Laurie's house. Like, that's the only way.
I don't think I cared for it, mostly because I saw it come in. Like really early.
Is that when he was on the bus? Because he was alive, like on the bus, and yeah.
I didn't really see it coming as such, but I was also a bit confused by it initially because I didn't really understand the reasoning by it 100%. I guess it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I was a bit like, do you know what I mean? It didn't feel impactful enough.
Maybe it was. Again, maybe it's another one of those methods for wanting to get him to talk. So I guess to touch through it, maybe when he was in prison, right, Michael, if I help you escape, will you say thank you? Because that would be good manners, wouldn't it? Friends help each other, and then friends say thank you to each other when they do things. Yeah, Michael, hold that door open for me. Thank you, Michael. And I see that's how you do it. So I guess that she runs into the arms of the policeman who catches her. This in itself is a bit of a weird thing because the people who you're going to take far away from murderer Michael Myers. So the policeman finds the girl. She gets into the car. Alison's in the car. The doctor's already in there. And then it's a case of they're taking her off to her grandma's house. But as they're driving there, they see Mike Myers just hanging out in the street.
Yeah.
So the policeman goes, GTA, motherfucker. Smashes him with a car.
Carmageddon.
Yeah, gives him some Carmageddon. Twats him with the car and then pops out and says, right, I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to shoot him full of bullets. But then the doctor gets in front of him and says, oh, move out the way. Can't possibly shoot this massive man past you. And this is when the doctor, who, as we've already implied, is Michael Myers' secret friend, gets out his secret stabby pen.
Big.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's got that. Where do you buy those?
Like a special... It's got like an octopus arm on it or something.
Yeah, it's got like a little biro that turns into like a massive sword, and then he whips round and chops the policeman's neck. Now he probably gets the drop on him because having probably shot him several times already, I was like, now this guy's one to jump out at you, so don't shoot him if he makes any sudden moves. So when he jumps out and stabs him, he's not ready. So he gets stabbed. Policeman dies. The guy puts Mike Myers in the back of the car. He puts his mask on for a minute, doesn't he?
Yeah. Why does he do that? Just because he kind of like wants to...
I think he wants to experience what it's like to be Michael Myers. Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fanboy. Covers band.
Yeah. Because he sort of says, "Oh, now I know how it feels, Michael." Brilliant.
It feels brilliant. I don't blame you at all for everything you've done.
And then I've done that. I'm going to take the mask off and finish.
Yeah, because that's what he does, doesn't he? He only wears it for a minute, maybe because I don't know. Maybe Mike Myers was just slightly too heavy. I can't pick him up with this mask on. Put the mask off, and now he's just light enough now. I'll get him in the car. He chucks him in the back of the car, and then with Alison, she's locked in there as well because it's a police car, so she can't. It's got child locks on. Can't get out. Can't get out the back.
Yeah. So obviously does a bit of sort of like exposition here where he sort of explains that he wants to know what Michael Myers' true nature is, and he's going to take her to Laurie's home and set up basically a celebrity death match between the two of them. And obviously
brilliant.
It's good though because there's a lot of time where Michael's got his mask off, but we never actually see his face like for more than either a tiny split second or like in a really quick shot where he's just like moving around and stuff, or sort of like an angle where you can't really see his face. I think that's pretty good.
There's one bit where you sort of see some of his eye, and it looks
mangled.
It looks like he's blinded or something. Like,
I think he's got. Yeah, I was going to say. I think there's a couple of things they touch on. Like you see the stab mark in his neck where he got coat hangered. Or is that knitting needle he gets in the neck?
It's a knitting needle in his neck and a coat hanger in the eye.
Yeah, gets a coat hanger in the eye. That's why he's got a milky eye, because he got a coat hanger in it.
Yeah. So then Michael wakes up. Isn't happy about the current situation.
Oh!
He sort of puts him off a little bit, doesn't it? Because they're driving towards Laurie's house, and Alison sort of says, "Oh, he spoke to me, you know." Yeah. spoke to me. If you let me go,
What did he say? What did he say? He said, "You're a prick." Hey! Absolutely pulled your pants down there, haven't I, mate? Jesus. He's like, "I'm not a prick."
I'm not. But then, yeah, Mike Myers wakes up and he is furious. So he
not a morning person at all.
He whacks his mask back on and he kicks the grate in.
Yeah.
And he gets the doctor, doesn't he? He gives him such a killing. He smashes him like a pumpkin, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Stomps on him like the big bottle of wine you have at like a Jewish wedding. Mazel tov.
and then obviously Alison runs and flees into the woods.
Yeah. You'd think that he'd have got her first, really, because he was in the back with her. But he was like, oh,
maybe you weren't bothered. Maybe you weren't bothered.
It wasn't even bothered, mate.
He was like, "You wear my mask, you little prick."
Yeah.
The two policemen who, the other car's not radioing back or something, so they had to check it out.
Yeah, the two worst policemen that go, "Oh, there's the other car. Suspiciously quiet that it stopped over there."
Yeah.
And on the day that Mike Myers, notorious like sneaker about and murderer, is around.
They must have heard stuff over the radio that there was like murders going on.
That's why they're at that house, though, isn't it?
Oh, right,
specifically for that, the murder.
Or even like if they'd been listening to it as well. Like, doesn't the policeman that is now dead? Doesn't he radio and say, "I've got eyes on Michael Myers"? So hang on, the last thing I heard from him, he'd just seen Michael Myers, and now he's turned up and his car has stopped.
Yeah.
But they walk over anyway, but are caught unawares, aren't they? And
they get attacked. They get turned into jack-o'-lanterns. Which
they do.
That sounds like a process that will take a long time, and like you need special tools to like scoop stuff out. And where do you get the tea lights from? Was Michael?
Or did he use their torches, their mag lights that the policemen have?
Sense. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know how he scooped all their insides, their heads out though.
Yeah.
With just that one touch.
Yeah.
Maybe. Again, much like when that woman had that Japanese steel knife, maybe it could have been an earlier scene with those two policemen, because you see them. It's not as if they didn't have time, because they had a scene of those two playing pinball earlier on that served no purpose.
Oh yeah.
You could have one saying, "What are you doing with that melon baller?" "Oh, it's in the boot of the car." If they'd done that, that'd have been fine.
I'm going to take this melon baller back because it's too sharp.
Yeah, it's too sharp. You could have someone's brain out with that. But they don't, unfortunately. But
so now we get the final showdown, don't we?
Yeah, this is your Home Alone moment, because everyone's there. Stupid peanut butter penis dad again makes a foolish error. They're in the house.
Goes out, leaves the door open.
Yeah, he goes out and leaves the door open, and then the police car's pulled up, and he's like, "Lads, any news?" "Oh, it's funny. The car's all blacked out, and they've not got out. They've not said anything, even though I've been told not to leave the house by my extremely paranoid mother-in-law." I'll nip over to that, and that's when he sees the jack-o'-lantern art attack, and then he cops it, doesn't he?
He gets shanked. He gets shanked pretty basically.
He gets a strangling, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he gets snaps as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember how this all kicked, because it feels like there's like something like domino pieces being set up around this point now, and this is when they all start to sort of fall.
So basically, Karen goes into the hidden basement, which is under like the kitchen island.
Yeah,
that comes away, and then hidden basement with all the weapons. She goes down there, and then Laurie basically, even though she's been prepping for this for a long time, I mean, she's on the back foot almost immediately. Stood by the door, waiting for him, not realizing, well, it's just one layer of glass between me and him, and he smashes his way through, grabs her, trying to kill him. She shotguns him, but I don't think it hits him, does it? Does it like?
It has some of his fingers off.
His fingers off.
Yeah. That's right. She takes a few of his fingers. Nice, very, very, very good.
Yeah. This is one of these things. Like, this is where I struggle. I should be able to suspend disbelief more, but I turned to Karen, who was sat in the cinema with him, and was like, not the character, my wife. Turned around and said, "How long would you bleed to death with some of your fingers blasted off?" She's like, "Oh, not that long." And, okay. So she blasts his fingers off, and then foolishly, some might say, just leaves him. Just rather than
finish him off,
whipping the door open and blasting his face off, she legs it back inside. what does she do? Does she go back inside and see Karen again? So definitely still stay in the basement.
Yeah, I think she does that, and then she's like roaming around the house, closing those grates behind her to sort of like kind of pen herself in so she can't get attacked from behind, maybe. Trying to find him, but he still gets a jump on her. He still gets a jump on her in the mannequin room.
Because she has a mannequin room. That's the problem she's made there.
Yeah.
She follows the blood trail upside, and like she puts those like washing baskets over the front, so the other doors are sealed off, like those grates that you say.
Yeah.
And she works her way up. I didn't understand this. Why when they were preparing the house, did they prepare the house by switching all the lights off? Leave them on. Leave fucking all the lights on, and don't have any creepy mannequins. No. If you're getting a Michael Myers, open plan everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I got this room with the mannequins in. I got another room with cardboard cutouts in of people.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because he'll get lost in them. You know, and then it'll be a bit of a laugh when you're shooting them. Oh, whoops! I've shot a bloody cardboard cutout. Oh, there he is.
This room full of mirrors, and this one full of and this one full of Michael Myers posters and cupboards. Like cupboards that are really cluttered that you can quite hide in. Oh, but I'll keep all my long dresses in here. But you're right. This is another. This whole section is the one for recreations of the old films, right? Because you've got a bit which is, and it's a lot of reversal versus the original. So there's one where Michael Myers is perhaps hiding in a cupboard, and she's got the gun and says, "Oh, you come out, Michael, piece of shit." And he doesn't, because he's just like, no.
Fuck you.
I heard you talk, Michael. The doctor's back.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in the cupboard, and he isn't there. And then she goes up to the upstairs room that has been with a trail of blood that she's gone up to, and she tries in the cupboard in there, and it keeps turning back to all the mannequins, and you think he's going to be one of the mannequins in a sec. Check that mannequin. And then she opens the cupboard, and it's Ray.
He's taking this time to bring his body in and sling it in there.
Stuff it in a cupboard.
Yeah. So then they have a bit of a fight in that room, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
has a fight, and then he throws her out of the massive bay window, which probably is a massive security risk in itself. But this is another replica of the original, right? Because I think
this is my favourite one. This is when he turned away and looked back and Laurie was gone.
Yeah.
That was a genuine sort of...
It was great.
Yeah.
That would be her perfect moment to have done a Neil Buchanan art attack on the floor in the garden.
With the leaves.
Yeah.
Just a middle finger. So when he looked back, he went, ah.
That's why he hates her. They're like art rivals.
Yeah.
He's Neil Buchanan, and she can be
one of
the
head
Smart.
What's that?
Oh yeah, Morris Spade from Smart. God rest his soul.
Yeah. Maybe they should change it around then.
Tony Hart.
Yeah, Tony Hart. There we go. So and Tony Hart and Neil Buchanan, and and she's got grey hair like Tony Hart had. So. So she's like, fucking Tony Hart, I'll get you.
She plays the Tony Hart theme. What was it? How's it go?
Heartbeat.
She plays that into the house. He's like, no.
he's losing it. So he goes back downstairs, having lost Laurie, and Karen has nipped out because Alison has come to the front door. She's run through the forest when she ran away from the car pulling over. Has had a bit of a scare by running into her field of mannequins.
Yeah.
And then she rocks up at the front door. Karen comes out of under the kitchen island, sends her daughter down into the survival bunker, and gets it closed again. But you don't really clock exactly that Mike Myers has seen that it's closed, but now he knows where they are anyway. Oh, that's it. He knows where they are because Laurie gives it away early on. When he first comes into the house, she shoots him. No good.
So yeah, then he grabs the kitchen island and he's like, do you realise how much money's gone into this mechanism? He's like, fuck it!
That's not an IKEA fucking kitchen side. That's I don't know how they even made that moving fee. Did Laurie make that herself? Did she get a man in?
I reckon she did it herself. So yeah, Karen's got her old gun with her initials carved into it because
she picks that one, doesn't she? She has to look across. There's a big rack, but that's the one she chooses. And then Mike Myers has knocked the kitchen island over, and she starts to have a bit of the old collie wobbles, doesn't she? She's like, "Oh, I can't do it. I'm really sorry, Mom, Laurie Strode. I can't possibly do it." And then
he pops his head out.
Pops his head out. She goes, "Ah, got you. That was me tricking you. Bye." And then she shoots him in the neck.
Mm. Yeah, and then does he fall down now?
Yeah, he falls down the stairs into the basement, which is probably the last place you want to be.
Yeah, so those two try and get out. Obviously, Laurie turns up as well, and she's helping, like trying to pull them out. And there's 3 generations of Scream Queen, I guess, at this point, versus Michael Myers, who's trying to crawl his way out of the basement. But eventually, they manage to kick him back down. Get back down in there!
Alison sort of has a part to play as well, right? Because they've all given him some beats apart from her, and she grabs the knife, which he has dropped in being shot in the neck, and she stabs him in the arms. So he falls down into the basement.
You press this mechanism which kind of brings these bars across. Are they bars or what are they that come across?
Spikes, yeah.
Horrible spikes.
Should let him get a bit closer and spiked him.
Yeah, and then Michael Myers just looking up like going, I'm fucked here. I'm in a right bother. There's no way out of this one. And obviously the final part of Laurie's plan is that she's got a load of gas leaks. She's got a load of gas leaks knocking about. Sends the gas.
You can switch on.
You can switch on and sends it in there, and she uses the flare to burn the living shit out of him. He seems alright with it. He's just looking up that. Oh yeah, you got me. You win this one.
Yeah.
It's like maybe he's just in awe because it's quite an artistic setup. He's like,
yeah, this is good. This
is why you're the master, man. This is why you were on BBC and I was ITV.
Yeah.
Starts clapping like that at the end. Well done.
Yeah, you've done it. And these
they escape in the back of a pickup truck, and then we watch sort of the house burning. But there is a kind of final shot of the basement burning, and he ain't there, is he?
Yeah.
No, he's gone.
He's vanished.
It's a weird last shot. It's just them in the back. The very, very last shot was them in the back of the pickup truck, and then
like the bloody knife that Alison is holding, and she sort of drops it to the side, and it's just got the blood on it, and that's how it ends.
Yeah,
I did wonder.
There is a post-credits scene with Michael breathing, apparently.
I looked that up. Yeah, I didn't stay for the credits, but
no, I was dying for a wee by that point. I had to get out. So
what an absolute mouth breather he is.
It's that mask he's got on though. I guess it's all latexy.
Yeah, I bet it stinks because it's like old, and if it's meant to be the same mask from before, it's like all mouldy and stuff over the years. So I bet it must proper reek.
Can you imagine if that's what gets him in the end? That the rubber in that mask has perished, and he gets like asbestosis or something from it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the movie. Should we do some trivia?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So number one, we did touch on this before. So when podcaster Dana Haynes is murdered on the toilet, what was she trying to do? A number 1 or a number 2?
I reckon it's a bit of both.
Yeah, got to be a bit of both because you can't go one without the other sometimes.
It'd be really annoying if you couldn't do a number 1 without having to do number 2. Yeah. I'll just quickly. Oh God.
But you're not having any number 2 without any number 1, especially if a man drops teeth over the top.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Number 2's joining you.
So there isn't a real answer to that. So correct. Number 2. How many timelines does the Halloween franchise have? So there's been reboots and remakes and stuff. So how many timelines exist within that franchise?
Jesus. 1, 2, 3. I reckon 4.
Are you going for 4. Andy?
Yeah, I'm counting 4 as well.
So this is the 5th timeline. So it says here, current timelines are 1 and 2. There's 4 to 6, Halloween to Halloween 2, H2O, and Resurrection. Halloween 3 is its own timeline, apparently. It adds up to 5. Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't count Rob Zombie.
Yeah,
right.
That's the one I forgot about.
Yeah. Number 3. Who convinced Jamie Lee Curtis to reprise her role of Laurie Strode for the film?
John Carpenter.
Yeah, it's got to be Johnny C, hasn't it?
Well, they say it was Jake Gyllenhaal. Apparently, he's a family friend of Jamie Lee Curtis, and he convinced her to do it. But from what I can tell, she's been like well into it from the get go. So
yeah, she's always up for coming back, isn't she?
Yeah. And before we see the little kid watching a movie like they did in the first one. What was that movie? We see like a guy open a boot and he gets zapped, and like we see him turn into reduced to a skeleton.
Yeah, he's like a red.
Oh yeah, is it? Oh shit. It's the. I know what this is. Any guesses, Andy?
No, I don't know. I was watching it at the time and I thought, no.
Repo Man.
It's Repo Man. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a good film as well. Number 5. What was the working title for this film? I think they had a couple, but they I don't think they were going to ever really use this one. But they had a working title that they were working with.
Just Easter. Just delayed.
Well, the original was the Babysitter Murder, so it was either that, like imagine going back to that, or just Michael Myers.
So the working title was Halloween H40, 40 years later.
Oh.
Fuck off.
Yeah. The spy who stabbed me.
Yeah.
Mate.
I saw someone said they would have liked to. They just called it The Shape because that's what it's
well, she does refer to him as a shape as well, doesn't she? At one point? Which I don't think she'd done before.
No, I like.
Which is weird because she knows his name.
Yeah.
The shape of slaughter.
Yeah, he's a sort of just a shape, amoebic sort of shape, just an insult to call him fat or something.
Yeah. Big square.
Yeah.
Got you.
Oblong man. Hexagon.
You bloody rhombus.
Yeah.
All correct. We need to rate the film. Andy, what are you going to go for?
It's tough because when you've seen something at the cinema, I think I'm always tempted to go, I've just seen that and I had fun. Had a nice day out, had some popcorn, I might up it a little bit. I'm trying to remember what I gave to the original because, you've got so much of the iconic nature of the original that this feeds into so heavily. This has a lot of the sort of quality of life stuff you get from modern filmmaking. I'm not sure it's going to be like an essential watch. I think I'll probably be inclined to watch the original more than I'll watch this one.
Yeah.
But it was still entertaining enough, so I'm going to go with the right side of Pleasant, C+. The
right side of Donald Pleasance.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
I'll probably go a little bit higher than that. I think that for me, the soundtrack really, really pushed it that extra mile. It kind of ticks all the boxes that you kind of want a film like this to, without being too, it doesn't go too crazy. It doesn't strip it back ridiculously. So I'll probably I'll go for a B. I reckon. I enjoyed it enough to give it a B.
Yeah, I went for a B as well. I think I just found it really. I don't say it's 100% perfect, and it's not completely solid. But it does everything that I really wanted out of this film. Like, it ticks all the boxes. It was a really good, solid movie. So I couldn't give it any less than B, really.
No.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same, yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, but soundtrack's the best thing about it.
I can tell you based on that, guys, if I look back in the archives, that you've enjoyed it the same. Ben, let me take a look here. So, original Halloween, you also... No, sorry, Luke gave it a B, so Luke has been consistent. Ben, apparently, you preferred this to the original, which you gave a C+ to.
Do you know what? I could probably agree with that.
Yeah,
just because I remember, like with the original, like obviously I understand how classic it is, but I think there are still bits of it which I found a bit slow or a bit sort of I think I said it was quite meandering, which I think I agree with. Or I think maybe just had a little bit more direction, maybe. I think the original kind of represents. There's obviously the scene in this where he runs around killing people just left, right, and center. That felt like much of the original. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think next week we'll carry on with our video game adaptations. Silent Hill, I think, is next on the cards, which I'm quite looking forward to. Are we doing any other video games as well, or is?
I think we were going to do Alone in the Dark as well,
Alone
just
in the Dark.
because.
I think I've asked
Just
that
because, as a is it a Yui? What's his name? Yui Ball.
Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll. Is that how you say his name? Uwe
I think
Boll.
so. The W is a V, I think.
Okay, so Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen an Uwe Boll film. So
He did this. He did Blood Rain. He did House of the Dead.
oh yeah, I have seen House of the Dead actually. So yeah, there we go.
Has it got Tara Reid in it? And
It has, and Chris
Christian Slater.
Christian Slater, yeah.
What time?
Yeah.
I think we're due watching an absolutely terrible film, Luke. Don't you reckon?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So this show is brought to you by Hawk and Cleaver. Head over to hawkandcleaver.com. Become a patron over at patreon.com/Hawk and Cleaver. Thanks to Kovac Cowman for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star rating and review in iTunes, and remember to hit subscribe. And thanks to my co-host Ben for being a right or a dude, and
Cheers,
also
mate.
thanks to once again to Andy for popping down.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, ACT.
All right, later.
See ya.